Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, so I'm going to go over the tutorial we had last week, and I also tried to complete the project. So for the sake of those who were not available, we were supposed to create a project with these components that we've created based on the concepts that we've learned so far, and that was auto layout, components, and variants. Yeah, so for the sake of those who were not there, we created this checkboxes, these buttons as components using auto layouts, and then currently we also converted them to variants. So the states you are seeing right now here are variants. Those are different variations of this button, different variations of this icon, for instance. So we want to, let me say, use these components to create another component, which we are going to create something like a table of employees and some little data about them. And then we are going to leverage on this basic component that we've created up here. And to do that, I want us to like just restart the whole thing so that those who were not with us during the live class would also benefit from this. So I've created a new document here. If you don't know how to do that, you can just close this, then click on the plus icon up here to create a new document. Then you click on the new document option right here. So you wait for it to load. Yeah, so once it loads, the first thing you are supposed to do is to get your frame, the frame you are going to be working on. So to do that, you can press F on your keyboard, or you click on the tool right here on the toolbar to have the frame. So here we are going to use the desktop dimension, and then I want us to just round off the corners here. So at the left panel here, just round off the corners of the, yeah, to distinguish it from the background, so we know that this is the space we are going to work on. Yeah, so I'm going to start very quickly by creating the two components that we need. That is the checkbox and then um, the the button. Um, Components are the assets that you are going to be reusing. So in the table, we're going to have different states of the button and then different states of the checkbox, depending on whether the person was available for work or not, you understand. So because we have different states of the same feature, we want to make sure that we create it as a component so that whenever we need a particular state of it, we just use it, you understand. Yeah, we had a thorough discussion about these components and variations in the class, so I'm not going to waste so much time on them again. Yeah, okay. So to create the components, we are going to be using sorry, the icon. We are going to be using a library called the Picon icon set. So I hope you also have the setup installed. So to we are going to be using two variations: the field and then the outline of this icon, the checkbox icon. So we have the outline version here, and then we have what the field version right here. So I'm going to grab the two of them. So first of all, let me take the outlined one. So that's when the state is not active. So we have it here. Currently, the this thing is set to white. The color is white, and our background is white. That's why you're not seeing anything. So scroll all the way down here on the left panel where you have selection colors. This is the actual color of the icon. So here we would want to change it to something like this color, dark gray. And then also, I just want to increase the width of the icon a little bit. So you double click on it till you have these vector lines on the right on the main boundaries of the line, and then you click on stroke. Then you set the stroke to one. I think one is okay, but set it to center instead of this thing outline. And then the color too should be the same color we used. Yeah, I think this is before and this is after. I don't know if you notice the difference in the thickness. or probably you can just set it to outside to make it more thicker. Yeah, outside will be cool. Yeah, so we have our button right here, and the size too, let's keep it as little as the size is right here. The dimension for the icon, the width is currently 192 and the height is also 192. For icons, you would want to make sure that when you are resizing them, you resize them proportionally so that it doesn't look stretched. Yeah, so for that sake, I'm going to turn on the link icon here, which means that when I change the value of the width, it's going to directly affect that of the height as well, proportionally by the same amount. Yeah, so I'm going to change the icon dimension to 60 by 60. Yeah, I know that will be too small, but like that's just the right dimension we need. So this we are going to convert to a component, and then we'll have another variation of this. So to do that, I'm going to grab the yeah, so first of all, let's convert it to a component. But before that, let's convert it to an auto layout. So you press on Shift A to put it in an auto layout, and then after that, you just press on either you press on Shift A to get the auto layout, or right click on it and then you choose auto layout. Because I've already applied the auto layout, that's why I see remove auto layout. But if there was no auto layout on it, you would see something like add auto layout. Yeah, so we are done with the auto layout. Now let's convert it to a component. So you click on create component. So currently it's acting as a component, and if you go to your assets panel here and then you click on this, you should be able to see it as a component right here. That means that we can now use it anywhere on this project, like without tampering with the main icon. So if we need several instances of this icon, we just have to come here and keep inserting the various instances we want, and then they'll all be inserted in our. We don't have to like do the whole thing or go back to the library to import or something like that. We don't have to do that. So yeah, now we have our main component sitting right here, and what I want us to do is to create a variation out of it. So you go to the this thing, go to the right side of the panel, just where we have the icon name. So currently, let me change the name to checkbox here so that it will be easy for you to identify. So right under design, we have the name of the icon, which is checkbox, and then next to it we have the properties tab, component configuration. We have select matching layers, and then we have add variant. So this is where we are going to add another instance of this tick button so that we can set different states, whether it's active or it's inactive. We can set different states. So I'm going to click on this add variant, and what it does is it's going to duplicate the main component and then create a copy of it. Now this copy of it is not just like it's not a normal copy, as in like when you just take the main component and you click on Control C to copy and then Control V to paste, or you just use the Alt shortcut key to copy it. There are different. The current copy of the component is inheriting the properties of the main component. So in future, if you do anything to the main component, it's going to affect this. But if you just copy with the conventional method or the traditional method, it doesn't inherit the properties. They all just exist as different, like different stuff. Yeah, but when you use it as a variant, you can be able to make changes to the main component and get it reflected on the child component. So we need only two states. So the parent state, which I would call this is the variant two. So this one, let's just call it active. Let's call it active state, and then the parent one we can call it default. So we have default and then we have what active. Now the active, since the two checkboxes look roughly the same, would want to create some variations. When someone is absent, for instance, maybe we have a gray this an icon or checkbox, and when they are present we have something else, probably let's say maybe green, to show that they are present. Yeah, we have the button is supposed to be. Currently, you see that it's not changing entirely green because I added some stroke to the actual outline of the icon, and that stroke was set to a different color. So let's just change it here. Yeah, so right now we have the two color sets. That's why it's now very visible. So the fill is now green, and then the outline is also green. So these are the two states I want: green and then this thing. Okay, let me make some little variation here. If someone is absent, we want the default to be red. Red. We want the default to be red. And if they are present, we want it to be green. Yeah, the colors doesn't actually matter. The convert whatever project you are working on, you would decide whatever colors to use. I just for visibility, that's why I'm changing the colors, so that we have these two loud colors on the white, makes it very appealing. So now we have our variants, our first variant. We can call it any color, anything, maybe state. You can call it our first state, and then you put this aside. So we are done with the first variation. Now let's create the second variation, yes, the second variant, which is a button. So first we are supposed to create the button itself. So click on the type tool, and then we are going to create any button. Ideally, this is not supposed to be a button. Maybe some drop down would have worked, so that you select whether you are a student, whether you are employed, or whether you are unemployed. Yeah, it's something like that. This is just a dummy project. It doesn't have to make sense. The most important thing is learn how to do whatever we are going to do. So let's say the default state is employed. Let's say you are employed, and then let's change the text color to this dark gray, or yeah, dark gray, and then also the font size should be somewhere. Let's change it to probably 32, so that it will be much visible for you to see. Yeah, 32 would work for me. Yeah. So this is the font style. It doesn't matter for now. We'll talk about type later. For now, I'm just using the default font Inter. You can change it to any font style you want. Yeah. So to convert this type to a button, all you need to do is put this into an auto layout. So you either right click and choose add auto layout, or you press shift A to convert it to an auto layout. So right now we have the button as an auto layout. Now I want us to pass to make some, like, currently it doesn't look like a button. It's just some random text sitting on the canvas. So to give it a bit of style, to make sure that it's a button, let's go to the fill here, and then we add a color. Maybe being employed is something that we are supposed to be happy about. So let's say the button should be green, and then the color of the text should be some shade of white. So you can go all the way down here, just click on the button once. You can go to under selection. We see that what we've selected, the colors that are applied, the green color is affecting the background, and then that color you are seeing here is for the text. So just click on it and then change the color to white. And then lastly, the button kind of looks so like uh, rigid. Now we want to make it a bit soft, so you just do that by rounding the corners. So make sure you select the entire component, or the entire auto layout. Then you scroll down to this point. Under appearance, we have rounded corners here. So let's just pass I think 15 will be okay. No, that's too small. Let's make it 30. um that's too much too. I don't want complete roundness, so let's keep it on the 15. That's cool. This is okay. So the next thing we want to do is the top and down pattern, that is the space around the text, is currently quite okay for me. So I'm not going to do anything about that. But the left and right spaces here, the padding here, I think it's just 10 pixels. I want us to increase it a bit to somewhere 24 pixels. So we want 24 pixels on the left and right. side of the button. So currently this is what we have, and then make sure that the content of the button is centered. Now what we want to do is convert this button to so we are done creating the button. This is a simple button. Now we want to convert it to um, a component, and then we can have different variations of that same component. So let's say let's convert it to a component first. You right click on it, and then you click on create component, or use the shortcut key control plus alt plus k to convert it to a component. So something like this. So now it's existing as a component, and as you can see down here, we have some properties that we can add to it. Um, we briefly discussed about the properties of components in the live class. So I'm just going to skip this for now. We'll focus on the variants part, what we are supposed to do for the variants. So let's call this, instead of frame one, let's call it is it status? Um, Whether you're employed or you're not employed, or you're a student. Yeah, let's just call it status. It doesn't have to make sense now. Status. Okay, so let's convert this button to, let's add a variation of this, so we can have for the students, we can have for the unemployed. So let's click on the variants, the same thing we did for the checkbox. You click on variants here, and then you have another variation of the component. Sorry, just a second. I think I clicked twice or something. Yeah, so we have this this we have this current variation, and then we can keep adding more. So we only need three variations, so I'll just maintain this, and then let's go into that variant. So to note, whatever you create whenever you create a variant, you see that it has this outline dash line. Yeah, that's what symbolizes if the component in that box is actually a variant or not. So now let's go down here, and then I want us to make some little changes to the different states of the same component. So first we want to change the background color for the unemployed to red. You are in a danger zone, and then that of the students to maybe yellow is okay, or orange, something uh, that shows you are in a ready state. You are ready to either be unemployed or to be employed, something like this. So and also let's just change the text here to students, and then let's change also the unemployed employed here to unemployed. Yeah, something like this. Also, the variant is, you notice that this one is overflowing, it's going outside the, sorry, it's extending beyond the distance for the variant, the space created for the variant. So you can just adjust this a bit to accommodate all that. So now we have our three beautiful buttons that we are going to be toggling between. We'll be choosing between these three states, and then when it comes to a checkbox, we'll be choosing between these two checkboxes. So now the next thing is to add the other parts of the table. So you see, to create the table, you first of all have to, I think this is the parents, the one we are making reference to. You first of all have to determine which of these components will be changing different states. So you create them as components, you keep them somewhere, and whenever you need to use them, you make reference to them, something like that. So now we have these components. So we are going to use them to create the parent heading of the table, and then whenever we need another instance of that row, we just duplicate in the order. So first, we need one state of this checkbox, one state of this status, which is employment status. So go to the assets panel here, and then just drag one instance of the checkbox out. Either you can just drag, but if it depends on which one you want, you can click on it, and then you see we have two states of it. We have the default, which is currently red, and then we have the active, which is green. So even at this stage, you can choose between the two of them. So maybe I think red is too loud, but I'll still go for red. Let's go for the red. So you can choose the red, and then you just click on use this instance. So we have the first instance, you keep it here. Then we have another instance of the button that we will need to add to this. So, but I think I want us to add that one at the very last, so you can, or maybe somewhere in the middle. Yeah, somewhere in the middle will be ideal. So let's add the other couple of stuff. We are going to arrange our items vertically now, and once we are done, we can set it horizontally. We want to play with the auto layout property because that's what we learned. We could actually just arrange them in a horizontal manner so that we'll skip that aspect of it. But since we are still on the learning process, we need to cover that. So I'm going to type out some of the text that we need. So um, after the status, we need maybe the person's full name. So I'm going to use some random name, maybe Idrisu, Idrisu Abubakar, something like this. And then I'll just place it right here. The alignment doesn't have to make sense for now. You can just place it right here. And please, the other time I noticed some of you were making this mistake because you have this. Let's say you have the name as a text, you have the date as text, you have the mail here as text, whatever here as text. You decided to just go into the main text here, then you pressed enter and then type the others. When you do this, they are all existing under one layer, so it becomes very difficult to like manipulate them individually or to set different properties for them. So I would recommend you to, like, when you create one text this way, if you don't want to go through the hassle of like going back to pick the type tool to type the whole thing again, you can just duplicate this text here. You can hold the alt key plus the left mouse button, just duplicate this text, and then you change it to a new one. When you do that, go back to the file here. You see that a different layer will be created for it. This is the first one, and this is the second one. So in that case, whenever you are editing this part, this one, the other one would not be affected. So let's put the dates. I think the second item on it was date. So let's just put today's date. So maybe March 12, 2025. And then next we have I think the gender. So I'll just duplicate this one more time. Then we have gender. So maybe he's a male student. um, then next we have age. So uh, the date you are seeing here is not date of birth. Maybe is there some the date you are reporting to the work or whatever. Yeah. The idea is just to have different items. Yeah, like I said, the project doesn't make sense so much sense for now. Yeah, so let's just put some age here, maybe average age, let's say 23. Yeah, 23 years is cool. And then finally, let's add the role. So let's add a role. Maybe uh, maybe Abubakar is an artist. And then finally we are going to, okay, let me use developer developer. Yeah, something a bit longer. And then finally we have whether the person is employed, still a student, or whatever. So here we are not going to use text. Remember, we've created a component for it already. We are just going to toggle. And I think I want to make some slight changes. I want to bring the developer last year, and then I'll insert the button in the middle here. So I'll just, to insert the button, go to assets. You don't have to pick it from the main component here, just leave this ones. Go to assets, and then you have the assets that you've created. So I'm just going to click on the this icon here, and then from this stage I can even choose which of the states I want to use. So let's use I think I should have renamed this. Let me go to the main components here, then you go to property, and under property, sorry, right beside property here, yeah, the values you can change them. So the default we can change it to employed, then we can change the second variation to unemployed, and then we can change the last one to students. Yeah, so that you can easily, you can, easily tell when you are on any of them. So let me click on it once again, and here you are now seeing what employed, unemployed, students. So let's set the initial to students. So I'm going to insert students here, and then I'm going to just place it right here. Good. So now we have the first row of that's actually supposed to act as a think the I don't actually like the color of the students button. It looks dull, so I'm going to change some to something vibrant, something loud, maybe blue. No, yeah, let's go ladies. Yeah, something like this is cool. Yeah, good. So this is okay. So now the next thing we are supposed to do is just put all these items into an auto layout. All these items. You remember we are going to put them in a row, and then to do that we are supposed to put them in an auto layout. And because auto layout gives us that flexibility to achieve responsive design, we'll be able to set the direction of the auto layout. So let me just go once again. Let me select them individually, select the text individually, or everything individually like we have right now, or you can just drag out to select, or you can even use the layers panel here to select the various layers for them. Now to put it in an auto layout, you can right click and click on what add auto layout, or you can press on this thing. You can press on shift A. So currently it is in an auto layout, or they are in an auto layout. But if you notice, only the text have been put in the auto layout. I don't know why I'm still facing this issue. I think it's because these ones are components. Sometimes you have to set the states to be able to nest different components. You have to make some slight changes. For now, I've not done that, and we are just going to proceed with what we have. So in order to put this two into the auto layouts, first of all, I'm going to, I think it has grouped these two separately because they are similar items. I'm going to ungroup them, and what I'm going to rather do is put them individually into the auto layout. This one is currently the auto layout, so I just drag this into the auto layout and have it automatically what fixed. So I'll move it up here, and then also I'm going to drag this students button into the auto layout somewhere in between the age and then it. And you see that automatically it takes the vibe of the container. Like you see the space between the individual items are kind of like the same. Currently we have about 59, which is so order value. Maybe I'll set it to 50. Yeah, so to set the space between the items, you can use the object spacing value here. So maybe let's put 50 here. Now I want us to clear this space a bit. Yeah, since these ones are now components, we don't need them on the main artwork. We can isolate them somewhere on the design. Maybe you can just place them outside here so they don't get to distract your face, so you can just focus on whatever is here. Yeah, so I've cleaned the workspace a little. Now let's do the needful. So we are going to put this in a horizontal row. So to do that, let's go to the appearance tab here, and yeah, sorry, let me see. Okay, yeah, that's it. So under appearance, right below, sorry, auto layout, under auto layout, not appearance, right below the auto layout text, we have the width, which is currently the width of the entire distance frame for the auto layout. And then the height, we have this direction. You see that direction is currently flowing from what? Top to down. That means vertical arrangement. But then we want horizontal arrangement. So you just click on the arrow pointing towards the right. So you click on it once, and then you see that automatically this is starting to look like something that we want. Wait, let me come. Okay, sorry. So I think I have to click on this part rather. Yeah, so you see right now it wasn't really adaptive. in the sense that the container didn't stretch as much to cover all the items. Yeah, so you can just expand it or just increase the width. Yeah, you see, when it was vertical, the width was quite small, because the height was what was taking the enormous amount of the space. But now, since it's set to horizontal, that means that the width is now more than the height. So you can just increase the space for the width. Now, if you notice, the alignment here is quite poor in the sense that you have the items currently. Oh, good. This is the current alignment. You see, under the auto layout, we have some panel here which shows the different alignment stages. What we want for this design is center aligned, but not okay. I think this is cool. We want center aligned, so set it to center aligned, and then now the space in between them, I think 50 is quite decent. This is looking very okay for me. Now, what I want us to do is right now, the first tab here is not actually very distinguishing. Like, because the background is white, it also has a white background right now, so it's difficult to tell where does it begin, where does it end. And also, if you look closely, the button here is kind of like occupying the entire height of the container, so there's no breathing space for that button. We want to avoid that, so go to the under selection here. We have the white color you're seeing here is for the auto layout, so you can click on it, and then let's make it a bit grayish, maybe something like this. No, sorry, I'm coming. Okay, sorry, we are supposed to add a fill. That white color was for the button here. It's for the individual components in the auto. So you see that the button on the student button, the white color on it has faded a little. So that was the one actually mistakenly changed as to grayish. So I'm going to just return it. Rather, I want the container, the entire auto layout. So to do that, we have to create a new fill. So click on the plus icon here to create a fill. Click on the color picker here and tune the value down here. Maybe just some slight hash. Yeah, something that we can just distinguish from the main background. So now, if you look closely, you can see very well what I was trying to say. So that the button here is currently taking the entire height of the auto layout, which is not the what we are expecting. So what I want us to do rather is to increase the height of the container a bit so that we have some breathing space around the individual elements. So set the height of the auto layout from here. Uh, Here currently is on 60. Yeah, so I want us to increase it a bit to maybe 70. Yeah, so uh, that's one way you can do that. You can increase the height this way, or we could have just added top and then bottom padding. In that case, you come to this place. I think this is the preferred way to do it. Yeah, so go to this is the left and right padding, and this is the top and down padding. So let's just pass a value of 24 pixels to the um, top and bottom. And now you see there's an issue here. The issue is that the let me count. Good. The issue is that the padding was being added internally. That's if you look at the direction here. So we have resize to fit, and then we have this here. If this is active, I think this is supposed to be active. But if you turn on this, I don't know why the effect is not showing it. But that was actually the constraint. So if let's say first you added the height and then you are not noticing any, sorry, the padding, you are not noticing any change, you make sure that you change the resize to fit here. You click on it to deactivate it, and then now if you pass any value, it should be able to reflect. You see, right now we have it changed. So if you decrease it to even 10, you can see the difference. I think 10 is okay because we have to use several instances of the table, so it doesn't have to take a lot of space. Now the next thing is, if you notice here too, the developer text is quite closer to the right side of the, it's just touching the edge of the auto layout. That's not what you want. You want some breathing space around the left and right too. So in that case, that one, let's put somewhere, we need enough breathing space for that. We can put 24 pixels at the left and right. So here we have now some decent space. If you place the cursor on it, it will tell you the amount of space that has been provided there. And that's just what we typed in. Yes, so now our first row has taken shape, but then we have some little issues that we need to fix. But before we even do that, I like rounded corners. I like smooth things. So currently the edge of the row here is too sharp. So I want us to just change it to 15 pixels like we did for the pattern earlier. Yeah, so this is quite smooth. Yes. So we could just go on and then duplicate this for the rest of the table. But if we do that, the um if you do that, whatever content you are getting after the duplication does not inherit from the previous one. They don't inherit from the parent one. So let's say you've duplicated about 50 instances of the table engine, and then you just realize that, oh, I was supposed to add this particular heading, maybe a heading for favorite sports or something like that. Since they are not inheriting from a parent component, you have to manually go through all the 50 components or all the 50 instances and then change the value like manually. But then if you have a component they are all inheriting from, all you need to do is make the change in the first component and have it reflected in all the 50 instances. Yeah, so we have to convert this entire bar here into a component. And to do that, we've learned that already. Someone should just mention it. Just whisper it. Yeah, exactly. So it's what? Control plus alt plus what? K, or you just right click and click on what? This. So right now we have a decent component. Now the next thing we are supposed to do is, this is supposed to act as our parent component. So with that, we can even just keep that one outside here. We can just keep it outside here. But for comparison sake, I want to keep it inside so that you can easily relate to whatever I'm going to be saying. So I'm going to center this so that we have equal space between from the left and right, and then yeah, the whole thing is centered. Now we want to create other instances of this. So I'm going to now go to assets. To get an instance of this, go to assets and then just click on what? Frame one. So this too, we can just change it. Instead of frame one, we can call it parent tab or something like that, or parent row. Let's use parent row. So from this parent row, we'll be able to get different instances, different rows. So let's go all the way back here and then click on this. Now, currently we don't have different instances. We only have one instance of the row. So I'm just going to click on this to add that same instance. So this is what we have now. Now, there are a couple of issues with this, but we'll only notice it if we are trying to change anything on the child component here, or the child component or the child row. Let's start by changing the name. So let's say we have someone with maybe a slightly shorter name, maybe Tia Adams. What have you noticed? You see that our component is breaking. Everything is supposed to be well aligned. You have the names here. Now as you can see, we have age falling into gender, and then we have gender falling into date. This button has been shifted. The entire row is not actually like, is not, it has even reduced. So that is not what we want. We want it to be adaptive, and this is currently adaptive. But then we want certain properties to have some constraints, like to stay the way they are no matter what happens. So to achieve that, we are supposed to put all the components here into different auto layouts, so we can set constraints on them. Yeah, so initially, I think this we've already done that with the checkbox, because when we're creating the component for it here, we actually kept it in an auto layout before we created a component, so we don't have to bother with that. Now let's take the text here, but you don't have to also do the changes here. In fact, you can't do it here, because when you try, say you want to change the width of this text here, you won't be allowed to do that. All they can you can do is to change it to whether to change the state, whether you want it to fix hacked or what fill container. That's what you can change the distance from it. And that is because this is just a child. He has no uh, what do I call it, edits. You have no edit rights on the child. You can edit the parents. You can edit the parents component, not the child component. So let's go back to the parents component here. And instead of, you see, currently the value is set to what, hack content, which means that the Figma is going to provide just enough space to contain the elements that are inside the container. So if the elements are more, it's going to give more space. If they are less, it's going to give less space. So you see, in the first instance where we have reduced our workflow, the text was very long, and then Figma was able to provide that long space for it. Uh, but the second instance where the text or the name is very short, say Adams, is going to provide just enough space to contain that. And since what do I call it? The entire width of the name tag has been reduced. That means that it's going to affect the entire length of the distance to the entire row. So we don't want that. So you have to actually, instead of setting this to hack kind of like you are providing just the right amount of space to contain something. Let's just treat it that way, plain English. Now let's go back to here. The parent content, that is where we are supposed to make the changes. Now, when you click on it, under the width, this is the auto layout, the layout, this is the width. I think I have to put it in an auto layout. It's currently not in an auto layout. So let's just click, or you can right click to confirm. If it's in an auto layout, you see remove auto layout here. If it is not, you see what, add auto layout. So since it is not in an auto layout, you just click on add auto layout. And now, as you can see, the property here is what, hack content. That is not what we want. We want it to be fixed. We want the width to, we want to define some width to contain the names, because the names is long. Then some names can be very long. It's longer than the ages, for instance. So we have to provide that context, that space for it. So you can click on what, fixed width here. And now, what have you noticed? You see that here, even though tier is just a short name, but now we have equal amount of space to contain tier as what, Idris Abubakar. They all take the same space. If you hover the mouse over it, you see that there's some dotted line around the tier here, which shows the space it is currently in. But as you can see right now, it's aligning it to the center, because that is the alignment option set up here. So to avoid that, we want all of them to be, or we want the names to be written with left align. So you click on the main parent component, you set the alignment to left, and you notice that it automatically reflects on the child component here, that is Adams. Then also, sometimes some names can even be longer than Abubakar, but since you used Abubakar as a base name, and then you've provided just this enough space to contain Abubakar, if you have a pretty long name, it's not going to enter. So what you can also do is, since the width is now set to fix, you can increase the amount of space here. You understand? You can add some little bit of space here to contain yeah, you can add some little bit of space to contain the any long name you may have. Yeah, something like this is cool. And then now, what have we seen here? Good. So here too, I think we have to, let me see this. Okay, for now, let me maintain this something here. I just want to demonstrate some. Yeah. For now, I'll maintain the current name, but I'll still make the adjustments, just so we don't have broken components to work with. Yeah, so I'll zoom back in, and now let's put all of them in auto layout. So the date too, we are going to put it in an auto layout. Shift A, then we put the this thing to the gender too in an auto layout. Shift A. This too, there will be a problem with it. I'll explain earlier later on. Then we'll put this too in an auto layout. The button, I think, is already in an auto layout here in the component, so we can leave that. And then here to put this text into an auto layout. Now, we want all of them to be aligned to the left. All the text to be aligned to the left. So the developer should be aligned to the left. This should be aligned to the left in such a way that once you start typing, the characters should appear from the. I don't know if this auto layout didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work. So I'm just going to do that again. Then you align all of them to the left. Align these two to the left. Now, if whenever you start typing any of the date, those ones, maybe here we now have say September 15th or something like that. You see that it starts appearing from the right place. We have it from the left hand, something like that. Now, these two, we have to set the weight to fix. Currently, it's also on hack. That's why when you reduce the size of the date, it's affecting the layout of the entire width. So go back to the parent component here and change the hugging here to what fixed. So you see that it pushes the entire row back. So you have to do that for all the different columns. So male too, sometimes it can be maybe long. Maybe you can have here instead of male, you can have female, which is a longer text. See that one too. Once you start typing, it affects the length of the row. We don't want that. So you go back to here and the hack in the main content, sorry, the parent tab, and then you change it to also fixed. And then here we still have a distance retained. Then finally, you do same for the number. You set it to fixed as well, and just add some little space here for the number. Maybe so we can have like up to let's say 3 decades for people that may outlive uh, the 2 decades age range. Or just some numbers are even 2 decades, but they will need more space than we currently have. Yeah, so once you have that 23, then here to students, think yeah, that one is okay. Here to set the developer to this supposed to be an auto. It's an auto layout. So set this to what fixed, and then now we are almost there. Yeah, so let's just recenter these two tabs. So I'll just recenter this, and now when you make any changes, it's not supposed to affect the layout of the tab. So here I'm going to change the state of I'm going to change the state of this from active to what inactive. So you can just click on this. This is how helpful components can be. So if we didn't create this tick box as a component, now if we wanted to set it to active, all we have to do is go and open Picon, bring in a new distant icon, set different color and blah 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 things. Here we don't need to do that anymore. All you need to do is just click on the component here, go to the right tab here, and the checkbox we have what state, then you change it from default to what's active, and then you now have the button as the icon as green. So as simple as that. So we have the name, then the date maybe September. I don't know why September is just on my mouth like that, but let's just change these dates. Let's just put something September 15th to 2030, 2030 or something like that. So maybe T Adams is a female, Astaghfirullah. Then let's say we have students who want to change. change his employment status from being a student to yes, let's be positive, to employed. Subhanallah, that's not how to do it. Rather, you click on the components. I'm going to go inside the components here. Once this is selected, you see different states here, just like we did for the checkbox. So drop down this student button and click on what? Employed. Yeah, so automatically it replaces it. Now, notice something. If I change here to unemployed, what would happen? Have you seen that? Good. So you see, the we set the button width here to I think fixed or something. The parent component here. So in future, if let's say no, I think from here the parent component. If you yeah, it's currently on fixed. If you change something that is longer than that fixed, it's going to what do I call it? It's going to clip just enough to fill the space you've provided. So you see that student was a shorter text, unemployed is a longer text. So it will only capture the part of unemployed that can fit into the space provided for students, and the other parts floats out, like the U and the D. You see that it's not currently very visible. So let's change the to resolve this issue, you have to make sure that the buttons are all of the same length. So to do that, you have to set this employed button, which is the main component. You have to go here. Let's center everything, and then the width of it is 2 3. Now let's make it 240. Yeah, so 240 is okay. Then we are going to copy that same width for unemployed, and also make sure that the width of it is fixed. So 240. So all the buttons should be, whether the text is longer or shorter, we want all the buttons to be of the same length. Yeah, so click on this and then set the width to also the same amount, and then set the distance to fixed. Yeah, so this is what we want. So the buttons should all be of the same height. Sorry, the same length. Yeah, so this is exactly what I. So you see that once you make that update, it has affected. It has been adjusted here, and there's still some couple of issues. When you come here on the parent component here, the padding here has been reduced. That's not because it's not there. We just have to add to increase the auto layouts to pull it out. Let me see. So this is good. Yeah, this is right. Yes, you're right. Okay, so now I think everything is ready, and then we have to wait. We have to just center everything once again um, with respect to this. You can just enter this. Good. So now you see here we have perfect alignment. Here we have perfect alignment. Yeah, so we've been able to resolve all the issues. Yeah, so now all that is left is just changing the different states. So we can now just duplicate the rest. So the main component was the issue here. Since we are able to solve the issue, the rest is just repetition. So let's just do that. You can just keep duplicating this one, the component here. You can just keep duplicating it, or you can keep adding more from this main component. And then once you bring it in, I think it's overlaps. So you have something like this. So you can just place it right here. I think I clicked it twice, something like this. And then you change the values. Also, we are going to add an auto layout very soon. So it doesn't matter. Let's just bring them in, and let's just change the values so that we have something decent. Maybe Nagumse, Mifta, and the data, I'll just maintain it. Let's call this guy a female. Then let's set the status to Sorry, let's set the status to employed. Yes, I think it didn't reflect. Oh, it's rather from here. No, the third one. So we are going to set the status to employed should be green. What is this? I think I made a mistake. Let me just backdate small. I deleted one of the component states. So I'm going to just backdate a bit. Yeah, so that's right here. So let's change this back to female, and then instead of students here, I'll just change it to employed, and that's the parents component. Yeah, so that's it. The rest is just repetition. So this one too, you can just change it to unemployed, and then in that order. So here we can just keep duplicating. Sorry, when you are to duplicate, make sure you select the entire. Make sure you just select the entire distance. Then you use Control C, Control V, then you keep duplicating. Control V, keep duplicating. Control V, keep duplicating. Control V. Yeah, so I have all this. Don't it doesn't matter the arrangement now. Now all we need to do is select all those components together. All this. So just select one, two, three. You can hold the shift key, and then just click on all of them individually. Yeah, so we should have this descent selection. So now, oh no, this is not what I want. So let me just select this. I want to select the parent. You have to select the main component. So now let's put all this table, this rows into an auto layout so that we have equals. We can adjust the spacing between the rows. Shift A to put everything in an auto layout so we can further uh, adjust the distance between them. So let's set this instead of mixed. We want the um, distribution. Okay, I think this is it. Instead of mixed, let's set it to 10 so that all of them there will be an equal space between them. Don't worry about this component. That's the parent component. That's why it's behaving that way. Like I said earlier, we should have just taken this parent component outside here. So it sits at the level of the components here so that it doesn't distract. Let me just see if we can do that. Good. Yeah, so now it doesn't distract the rest of the child components. It doesn't have a different view. So you see that now the table looks very, very decent, and you can just go ahead to change the individual values here. Also, you can keep duplicating. You can keep duplicating the rows, and they just fit into the entire table. Let me just go back small, and then uh, select the entire table. What did I just do? Shit. Just pardon me. I think I need to just select this. This entire frame. You can move it up here, and then just duplicate one more copy here. And now let's select that frame, that entire frame, and then we are going to change here to arc, and then I don't know if we can do some alignments. Yeah, we can just move it down here into the middle. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, we have the alignments active here. You can just use that. Good. So this is basically the project I wanted us to build using our knowledge of components, auto layouts, and all that. Yeah, I get it. It's not easy as a beginner, but then um, if you're able to like do certain things, this kind of mini projects, you're able to get your hands dirty with them. There's no other, like there's no big project you can build, because the big projects just leverage on this. They just complementing or integrating these small pieces of tips that you learn, or skills or concepts. You'll be able to implement them in your bigger projects, and that is what makes the difference. Yeah, so you can go ahead and then just change the whatever the content here, so we don't have the same content running through. And if you're able to get to this stage, congratulations. If you have any issues, difficulties, you can just put your message in the group, or in the comment section, and then we'll be able to uh, resolve it together. Okay, so the video is already very long. I'm going to pause here. If you have any question, put it in the chat section. Let's engage. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.